What is up, everybody? Happy Friday, everybody's favorite day of the week. Why? Not because it's the end of the work week. Why? Because once again, playoff edition, you get to come watch us here at Charlotte for the week. Obviously, ended the season this past week. Starting the playoffs, new time, new season, right? Get that fall, smell in the air, ready to go with it, right? Can't wait. But kind of jumping off, we will recap the last game. So last game of the season, as we had mentioned, had to win. As it turned out, we actually didn't. But yeah, felt like we had to win to get that top four, the goal we had all year. And what happened, of course, Charlotte came out with the victory. It was Charlotte 2, Philadelphia 0. I first note on here I put comprehensive victory. That's what I would kind of call it, right? It was kind of Philly didn't start all of their starters at the beginning, and that was evident. I felt like Charlotte was clearly the better team there in the first half. Both goals came within 6-7 minutes of each other. Had to throw that in there for you. No, very quick. I think it was like the 24th and 30th minute when they scored. First goal was a brilliant long ball from Milan to about a 50-yard pass down to Vargas. Vargas takes it, crosses it in. Nice little dummy from our guy Toklamati. Sets up Wilfred Zaha for the goal. That's goal number one. And then just a couple minutes later, one of what I thought was the most brilliant goals we've scored all year, just kind of, about felt like 12, 13, 14 passes kind of stuck over there on the left side. We got to see that left side magic between Zaha and Tofolo, right? They were just kind of working the ball. Nice 1-2. Gets it over to Tofolo, who eventually crosses it in for the goal from our guy Vargas. Funny picture of him at the end. I don't know if you guys saw the backflip with the sparkle coming out kind of his butt. Kind of funny looking. Maybe we can put that in, Gabby, if you remember. But yeah, funny picture. But yeah, that was the two goals. Philly did sub in their regulars kind of early in the second half, and they really kind of started to take it to Charlotte, I would say, there in the second, or at least kind of controlled the ball. They were, kind of passing it around the outside, and anytime they did get it in, though, what a performance by Kahlina. We say it almost every single week for him, but this week specifically, man, he was just on it. Anytime there was even a hint of some sort of threat, he was there to kind of knock it out and start it back over. So 2-0. We thought that was going to be it. We were all kind of already celebrating in the stands. And of course, then the 90th minute comes and kind of puts a damper on everything. We're all excited. Hey, we're going to finish fourth. And then Zaha gets his red card, right? And we'll kind of get into more of that here in a second, what that means. But red card late for Zaha obviously had no, meaning to the game whatsoever. It still finished 2-0. Great. Fourth place, that's what we were going for, but did put a bit of a damper on what was an otherwise great night for Charlotte. Guys, any thoughts on what you saw from the game and any of that?
I was a little disappointed in Zaha. I mean, I get it. Like he's the most foul player in the MLS. So like
history.
Yeah. And he isn't really protected a lot, or not as much as I would think they should protect him. I will say what he did at the end of the game and got his second yellow for his red was stupid. I don't know if he ever landed the punch, but I was like, even if you don't, that probably could have been a straight red. What I don't agree with is I don't think he deserved the first yellow by any means. He wasn't even involved in, he was semi-involved in the play, but he was not the one that should have been given that card. And if you, when we were watching it, there were so many times he got kicked and taken out from behind, and that is not allowed. And sometimes there's just I'm not trying to dog on the center ref, but I do think that she gets taken advantage of sometimes. So, but that's for another time and another debate, another space.
It could be on this debate. I don't disagree.
So,
he is the most fouled player in the history of the MLS, right? Right. And so, and it does seem like it takes 4, 5, 6 times for him to get fouled before we see a potential card for them. Whereas on the other side, sometimes it's only 1 or 2. Perhaps that's the manner in which Zaha plays, right? He is a very demonstrative, very intense player on the field. And so maybe that somehow leads to it. It doesn't mean it should, right?
One way or the other. But him because, he's kept his cool a lot. And I think he was just done with it. So, unfortunately, that means we play without him, and he kind of is that playmaker. So many of our plays go through him, yes. So it's concerning there. I'm excited to see what we can do. I think I'm not thrilled about our opponent being NYCFC and him not being in there. I am glad we're at home, but And then the way Philly came out in the second half, I think if there is a downfall and something Charlotte can be taken advantage in is how Philly came at us in the second half. We are not good at withstanding that pressure and then being able to like switch it and like go the like counterattack and stuff. And so we just kind of like pack it in and like the whole second half is played
White
defensively.
knuckle kind of style. Yeah, I don't disagree. What about you, Brian?
Yeah, Charlotte, gave up some big chances. I think they were fortunate to not give up a goal. Certainly the Zaha thing. I agree with y'all. I get it. Of all games, though, to get a red card, it's the one going into the playoffs.
In the 90th minute.
Right.
In the 90th minute.
Yeah, it was frustrating. They do always kick at him and try to rage bait him. But he should know better. So that's unfortunate. I think my big key takeaway from the game though was Tofolo starting and playing 62 minutes. I thought that was great. I thought he played well. He didn't seem to have any rust. So I think if we can get him clicking on that left side, that will help ease the pain of not having Zaha next week.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, he was very good. Like I said, both of them together, and golly, it just seems like we can't get them both on the field at the same time for more than a half right here. Like I said, at the end of the day, hopefully we can get through this first game without both of them, and like I said, survive that and see them moving forward, right? Because I think those two on the field at the same time is deadly. Moving that right into the news for the week, though. So. Yeah, what do you have for us, Amy? I guess we'll start with you.
So again, Kahlina makes the team of the match day.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, right. The team. What the heck is it called?
Team of the match.
The team
day.
of the match day.
He was on the team of the week.
So
we'll call
team
it
of the week, but that doesn't. He's okay. Anywho, Kahlina makes it again. I don't know. That's a lot of them for him. He's been on quite a few. So
I should have done the research and figured out it's at least 4 that I know
that's what
of.
I was saying, 4 or 5,
4 or 5 somewhere around there.
At least it's not 6 or 7.
Could be.
And then Vargas, of course, also makes the team of the week. Team of the match day. The M was throwing me off. So congrats to Kahlina and Vargas. We just need them to continue to keep it up. Step it up, especially trying to fill that void of Zaha.
Yeah, Vargas is first of the year. He's actually the only player also that played all 34 games for us this year. I didn't realize that. Appeared in all 34. First team of the match day for him of the year. So congrats, Vargas. Brian, what else we got?
Yeah, the other news from the week, which we've already touched on, is Wilfred Zaha will be out for the first round of the playoffs. Which will be held on Tuesday, October the 28th.
Tuesday.
At 6:30. Weird start time, weird day. But hey, the bank's going to be rocking.
Absolutely, yeah. So again, Tuesday, 6:30, October 28th. Everybody needs to be there, right? So that is game number 1. I think they had to do that because of the Panthers, right? They weren't able to put it on the weekend. Kind of low-key was looking for Friday, but I know that actually kind of would have stung for you guys. So it worked out. For Section 233, we're actually excited about the Tuesday game. Hopefully everybody else can be as well. The other news of the week, of course, just reported. Of the day, really. Yeah, exactly. It just came out today.
Of Tuesday.
Yeah. Well, they know we're recording, so we're good, I think. But yeah. So Tuesday, Pep Biel news from Zoran, our GM, kind of didn't go all the way into detail, right? Wasn't going to necessarily explain the contract details, but very much indicated that Pep Biel will be getting a contract and being a permanent Charlotte player here moving forward. I think that definitely deserves a round of applause. But I did want to kind of open it back up and see what you guys thought. Like, what do you think is a fair deal? Obviously, we know his talent, right? I mean, he is. You can count on 10 goals, 10 assists. That's a fact. He's already done it, right, in a season, and probably can do much more if he were to play the whole season. But then the health side, right? I mean, this is 3, 4, 5 injuries that we're talking about just in his tenure over here at Charlotte. What do you think's fair for him? Is it a DP deal, or do we somehow get to negotiate this down to a very good TAM deal? And what do you think?
It sure would be nice if we could negotiate it down. I just don't know. I don't know what he was getting paid at Olympiacos. But if we could leave that DP spot open and fill it with somebody else, that would be fantastic. But I mean, he's been great. I'm guessing that they don't have concerns about his knee, or they wouldn't trigger. I think they said it was a 3-year deal after the loan deal. So I guess they feel pretty confident in that. And by far, he was our best offensive output this year in the time that he was there. So It'd be nice to get him and Zaha cooking at the same time. And then we still have another DP slot open.
That's right.
And that's even if he uses it, if
Yeah,
he fills it. So I say pay him his money. Make it happen. Let him be a DP. I mean, it's not like we've been knocking it out of the ballpark in DP signings anyway. So just give him what he needs. Get him here for 3 years. I'm not really super concerned about the injuries. I mean, he had the hammy and then his knee, but the others I don't really remember as being anything substantial or significant. I think what they'll do if they know he needs to do, he'll do some rehab. And I mean, the other part of that news that came out is if, or should we say when, we make the finals, he potentially could be available for that last game.
Zoran did say that.
That would be pretty sweet, and to be in the finals, him come back and play and be like, oh, and by the way, he's here next year too as our DP. That would be a pretty sweet way to.
That'd be one way, yeah. Go ahead and go out on champs and then get the 3-year deal, right? That'd be sweet. I kind of the same boat. Obviously, yes, if we can get it to a TAM deal, even better, right? Just gives us so much flexibility moving forward. But you don't want to do wrong by him. I mean, obviously, he's come to Charlotte and been, like you said, our best, most dangerous offensive player, right? And he also kind of leads from both sides, right? He's always the one leading the press defensively at the top there. I mean, I think at the end of the day, whatever makes both sides happy, but if it is even kind of negotiable there, right? I mean, those injuries do concern me a little bit, right? Just because it has been a lot of them, and it's not like he's getting younger. He's only going to get older, right? So I'm a little bit concerned, but at the end of the day, the production that he puts on the field cannot be questioned, right? You can book him for 10 goals, 10 assists, probably much more than that if he's able to play, say, 30, 32 games versus the 20 to 22 that he did end up playing, right?
I think if you want to not worry about taking like a DP spot, then give Abada a TAM deal. I mean, I think Abada would be an easier person to work out a TAM deal with. I mean, I know he's a DP now, but I think it's an easy conversation to be like, hey, we were paying you this money, but we didn't quite get the DP.
Yeah, you got a whole numbers. 3 goals for us. Yeah,
so we want you, but we're going to I think that TAM deal would probably be a little more financially sound and reasonable than trying to pay Pep on a TAM deal.
I don't know how it goes.
I don't either.
But in terms
and then
of
you still have that other DP spot because you get Abada's DP spot back.
Correct.
So.
Yeah, I mean, even with him missing all those games, he was still our leading assist
getter, right,
and second in goals.
Yeah,
right.
So I mean, obviously the production is there, but he's got the best ability is availability, and he needs to be on the field. So
well said.
Exactly. Well, we'll see how it turns out. At the end of the day, the news is that he is at least very imminently going to be a permanent Charlotte player, which is something we have been talking about over the last couple of months, whatever, right? So glad to see that happened. I guess we'll transition right into the around the league here, right? So I guess I'll let you start off here, Amy. What do we got? A bunch of scores, obviously, ending out the regular season. We had decision day on Saturday. All the games happened Saturday.
All the Eastern Conference games happened at 6. Somehow, I'm not sure how, but Atlanta and DC end up tying. I guess if you're in the cellar, you just don't want to win, but I guess you don't really want to lose. So they just decided to tie 1-1. However, Atlanta does avoid the wooden spoon, but I don't know if I'm going home excited about that. Like, yay, we didn't win the wooden spoon.
14th place,
yay,
baby.
Woo!
Yeah, 35 million spent.
Yeah, so,
35 million spent in
well
14th
done.
place. Yeah,
good financial
wow
way to spend that money for 14th place.
Yeah, incredible.
And you didn't even get a wooden spoon to show for it.
Exactly.
Columbus 3, the Red Bulls, they're 1. They got their 1 goal. And then the kind of interesting one, Miami somehow decides they are going to start scoring goals, and Messi with a hat trick. Mm-hmm. Miami gets 5 and Nashville ends up with 2. So
repeat of what's going to happen coming up too.
Hopefully. So that's what we got for those 3. Okay.
And then kind of other scores on the board. So the team we play this coming week, NYCFC, actually suffered defeat to Seattle. It was NYCFC 1, Seattle 2 in that one. Kind of surprising just because Seattle had nothing to play for, and New York City kind of had everything to play for in terms of potentially getting the 4th. Wouldn't have happened because of us. Right. But at the end of the day, was kind of interested to see that score line. Even more interesting, Toronto 4, Orlando 2. I think I talked probably around 2/3 of the season. I was like, look out for Orlando. But boy, have they kind of fallen back down.
Darn.
I mean, don't hate it. Don't hate it. But I really thought that was a team that was going to propel forward, and they seem to have done the opposite of that. That was good English there.
Yeah, they
done did that. And then the other score on here, so going over to the Western Conference, Colorado 2, LAFC 2. And that kind of bears some semblance here in a little bit when we go through the standings. Brian, other scores?
Yeah, a few other Western Conference scores. San Diego hangs 4 on Portland, which was, that was brutal for Portland because they dropped all the way to the play-in.
Yes. They were in like
that means San Diego clinched top spot in the West.
Way to go, San Diego!
Yay, Gabby!
Yeah, say Gabby's gonna be happy about that.
That's pretty impressive for first year.
I would have liked to see what they did in the East, but at the end of the day,
that's not even to be said.
Congratulations, San Diego! Great story.
You played in the lesser of the two.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So then the next score is St. Louis 2 and RSL Real Salt Lake 2. St. Louis is at the bottom of the West. RSL will now play Portland for the play-in game. So
they hung in there. Yeah, that bottom of the conference is crazy.
And a final kind of shocking result is FC Dallas beats Vancouver 2-1.
Yeah.
And that knocked Vancouver out of the driver's seat for the top spot in the
Exactly.
West. So they tied with San Diego and are second because of number of wins.
Exactly. Yeah. Just to kind of piggyback on that, right? So that loss that was the biggest one. And again, you and I last week, Amy, we were kind of talking about that, predicting how we thought it was going to finish. I thought for sure Vancouver would win that game, win the West, and single-handedly also knock out Dallas. But Dallas obviously showed some fight, right? And they came in, they played the game, they won the game, and are able to stay in. So yes, obviously that means San Diego is the victor of the West. So congrats. That is a story we have been kind of following all year. Gabby's kind of dark horse or Cinderella team, if you will, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And so they were able to get it done and get the number 1 seed there. Of course, Vancouver, LAFC, and Minnesota all follow. They're all within like 1 or 2 points of each other, so a very close race there as well. Dallas, by virtue of that win, they do move not only into the playoffs, but out of the play-in, right? So they get that 7th seed. They don't have to do the play-in. Their reward is going back to play Vancouver again for a best of 3. So we'll see if Vancouver has a little bit more up their sleeve for the upcoming series there. But curious to see how that goes. And then the other 2, I think we just mentioned, so Portland and Real Salt Lake are the final 2 teams to get in. They are in the play-in. That did unfortunately eliminate both San Jose and Colorado. San Jose had been kind of fighting to get in the whole year. They hadn't been in the playoff mix, just right outside, and ultimately finished just 1 win shy. I think they tied on points, didn't get enough wins, and same for Colorado. But Colorado kind of stings for them. They've been in 6th, 7th pretty much the whole year. 6th, 7th, 6th, 7th all year, and then that loss ultimately knocks them all the way from 6th down to 10th or 11th, right? So horrible loss for them. Actually, it was a draw, wasn't it? Yeah, so it wasn't even a loss, draw to them, but it does end up knocking them out. So that's kind of the West. What about over on the East side?
So our boys in blue, they did it. They did what they
said. I did this, but I'm not wearing blue today.
I sat in this chair in the summer and said, this is not a top 4 team. They proved me wrong, and they finished 4th.
Darn right.
We get that coveted 2 games in the playoff, 2 out of the 3, so that's great. Above us, then in the top spot was Philadelphia, followed by Cincinnati and Miami. We've beaten all of these teams.
Literally, all 3.
We beat Cincinnati twice. I was looking back, and in both of those games, there were red cards against Cincinnati. So I don't think we're scared to play anybody.
No.
We can beat anybody at home.
Absolutely. I'd agree. Crazy. They're all within like that 1.2, and then we were right there below.
I will say I'm glad we're playing NYCFC at home and not the reverse, because nobody – and somebody asked one of the players in like one of the post-game press conferences, they're like, how you feeling about playing a playoff game at a baseball field? And I was like, that's the dumbest question you could ask a soccer player ever. They're not going to love it. But at least we only have to do it once, and Zaha will be back. But anywho, 5th through 9th, 5th, of course, is where NYCFC landed. But 5th through 9th, they're only separated by 3 points. So it was a dogfight down to decision day as to where everybody landed. However, unfortunately, our purple boys to the south, not the Pink Pony Club or the Pink Pony Club, but the purple boys, they are now playing it. They have to do their play-in. So, and they're playing the Fire. So I guess that game will be in Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago
So-
hosts that game on Wednesday, tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it'll already happen by the time
play-ins
this.
are tomorrow. So that's what we have for our play-in the East. So we'll see how it all shakes down.
All right, and then now that we put our final bow on that particular segment, right,
nice.
into the segment that kind of started everybody's favorite. It is the match day preview for this coming week. Again, a little bit later in the week, so it's not a Saturday game. It is a Tuesday game. Be ready, be there, be alert, be happy, be cheering, all those things. We already touched on it, though. It is, of course, Charlotte hosting NYCFC. Charlotte, of course, finished fourth with 59 points. NYCFC right behind them in fifth with 56 points. Dead even, right, as far as the season goes, right? So we split the season series 1-1 rather. Both home teams won 2-0 in their games, right? So it was 2-2 aggregate, 1-1 overall. Very, very even in terms of how that worked out. Also, interestingly enough, of course, we had our historic 9-game winning streak during the season. It actually started with our victory over NYCFC and ended with our loss to NYCFC as it worked out, right? So not really anything you guys need to remember, just kind of interesting and thought you might want to know about it. We've already kind of gone through, right, a couple of times talking about what NYCFC is as a team, so I won't break it down too much, but just as a reminder, right, NYCFC, very possession-based, very, I would say, mistake-free based, but not very risk-adverse, right? That's kind of the way they play. They're going to keep it between the lines, so to speak. They're going to play that low to mid block. They're going to make you beat them down or break them down, rather, with 5, 6, 7 good passes, right, versus we just made a mistake and you scored on the other side, right? You have to break this team down to be able to really win against them, right? They're not going to beat themselves. It's just going to be about being clean on the Charlotte side, right? We've already talked about Zaha not going to be there. Pep Biel's not going to be there, right? Those are certainly our two biggest playmakers on the field at any given time. So not having them even more so kind of lends itself to being, hey, we need to kind of play the same way that NYCFC plays. It may be a pretty pragmatic, especially first game, I would say, right? I don't see very much, back and forth, up and down the pitch, right? I think it's going to be very, hey, we're going to have our chance and kind of see if we can break you down from the midfield, and then you have your turn, right? It's kind of the way I think this game will go. But to me, it really comes down to who's going to be first to the ball, right? Those second balls, those kind of long balls, right? The high balls, the headers, right? Who gets there first, right? Got to be the first to make that pass. Got to be the first to get to the ball. First to make the press if they kind of lose it, right? That's got to be kind of the mentality in this game, is just being first to the ball. I'm calling this one the Abada game too, right? So we just talked about him briefly about how maybe he should not be a DP anymore, and rightfully so. I think for sure he's got to be the player that is replacing Zaha in this particular starting lineup. I'm not sold on that, but I think he's the player that gives you the most potential, right, out of that, right? He is our most sudden player, I would say. Now, he's also suddenly bad, right, some of the time with his passes and just kind of laziness overall. His helicopter arms that we've talked about, right? He definitely has that risk involved, and so that's why it is a little bit of a risky play, in my opinion. But I think it's a necessary play. He can be a game changer, and we need a couple. We don't have any other game changers out there right now, right? We have game managers, we have players that can make the right pass. We need somebody that can be sudden, and that is an Abada, in my opinion, right? So I'm looking at him going into the starting lineup for Zaha and having himself a game. I think that's got to be the difference. Do I love that that's what I'm putting all my eggs in? No, but at the same time, I think, like I said, as long as the rest of the team can have that 7 out of 10, kind of workmanlike performance, and then we have a game changer, potential game changer in there with Abada, who should be motivated for a game like this, not being able to play hardly at all this season. To me, it kind of lends itself to seeing how he can do and seeing if he can be that game changer that we need. What do you guys think?
Well, that would be nice.
Yes, would be.
I do think about it. I mean, he's speedy. I think it's he's exciting. He's able to run in behind, which makes him a little more of a threat. Although we haven't seen a lot of that. I'm gonna go completely out of the box. I know you're shocked, but I know.
Heck of it?
Hell no. I'm gonna give you a game changer.
Okay, give me one.
Give you a game changer. Maybe not in the position in which you think he would be, but I think, And Abada's good coming in on the bench, so we're just going to tuck him away. And I think let's give Archie the start. Let's see what Archie can do on the right.
You've been trying to get Archie in there.
I know maybe it's not his natural position, but I mean, he scores goals. He's fast. He's speedy. I think he could play on the wing. I mean, you don't always play your entire soccer life in the middle as a 9. So I'm like, you know what? Just try Archie. Who knows what they did in.
I think they would be better maybe putting Toke on the side just with his touches and then maybe leave Archie up top with a through and through striker.
I think put Archie and Toke and Vargas and however you want to formulate that. I think that would be exciting. I think we'd score goals. I also think NYCFC's not expecting Goodwin. They don't really know how to play him. Abada, they've played and they've seen. So I think, why not? Throw it to the wind, see what happens. So I think that would be amazing, but I'm excited about us potentially running in behind them. I do think you need to make sure we aren't making those mistakes. I'm a little worried about how we like to play it safe sometimes and possess.
Especially when we get that lead.
We're not an overly, we don't do great when we lead in possession. And that kind of worries me in this game because I think both teams I think it's going to be pretty even in the possession.
Sure.
But I just hope, like you said, we need some of those daring balls. Let's get Malanda to give some of those long balls over the top and see who runs in, whether it's Abada or Archie or Toke or Vargas.
As long as somebody in blue.
That's not my score time. We're not in predictions.
Know the format.
I'm just giving thoughts.
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Mark. I think Abada comes in and starts. I think he's due. I saw where he fractured his wrist. He was wearing a cast in the game.
I didn't even know that.
You're not allowed to wear those in England.
Yeah, apparently, according to what Dino said. But I don't know. It just seems like he needs to come in and make an impact. And whether that's with a goal or an assist.
It doesn't even have to necessarily be a goal contribution. Obviously, that's what we would want it to be, right? But I mean, just that constant pressure and kind of the I don't want to call him safety valve, but kind of loosening up that midfield, right? He's the one that can go in behind, like you said, and have that suddenness. And if he can just get those defenders to back off 2, 3, 4, 5 yards, and then maybe open up Gianni and Bronico underneath to do what they need to do.
Well, and I know sometimes he's a defensive liability. But I mean, I think we have our best defensive lineup right now that we had all season with Tofolo and with Byrne on the outside and Reem and Malanda in the middle.
Yes.
So maybe he can go and take some more chances and would be less vulnerable in the back. So I think it sets up well for him to show what he's about.
I think it's got to, yeah. Like I said, it's kind of put up or shut up, right? I mean, I personally, the way I'm looking at it, if he can't play in a game like this, when you do have Zaha and obviously Biel out, and you're paying this guy what you're paying, I'm like, then exactly why?
Why?
And it is time to probably, respectfully move on because you just can't. Yeah, like I said, he was worth that for a reason, right? And I mean, we do see it. We see those glimpses. We see that speed, but it's just that's exactly what it is. And then that's overwhelmed by the lazy passes and not getting back on defense when you make those lazy passes, right? And so, and the helicopter arms that he likes to have in the box. So it's obviously we've called him the Sour Patch Kid all year. That's what I've called him anyway. And listen, it's time to go back to Abada being Abada Boom, right?
Yes,
you go get that boom back into your game, put some goals on, or at least get some, soften up that defense and play a good game that way and see where the chips may fall.
Abada bang, let's go.
Yeah, let's go,
get
baby.
You going for the playoffs, baby.
Well, I guess, good time to jump into the predictions then. I mean, it may not come with too much surprise here who I'm going to predict, but so of course we're picking Charlotte to win this game, right? Charlotte is going to win. We're at home in the bank in front of all of our fans. Cannot lose this game. Of course, I do think it's going to be tight, right? I mean, we know what NYCFC has, and again, we are playing with a little bit shorthanded. I'm going Charlotte 2, NYCFC 1. Abada is getting that goal one way or another. I think he's going to get in there. He's going to get a goal, and that'll boost the team. And, of course, on a bit of a cold streak right now, right? Been 4 or 5 games. Toklamati's not going to make it 5 or 6 games, right? He is going to get a goal in this game. Hopefully the winner, right? And send everybody home happy. That's what I have. What do you think, Amy?
That would be nice. I'm going 3-0.
Oh, okay,
I think
3.
we're going to have another Kahlina sheet. So I think Kahlina's just gonna put the wall.
I'm not
up
going to
and-
work on
Yeah.
Wednesday if we get 3-0.
So 3-0, and I'm gonna go with Vargas, Toklamati, and Archie. I think Archie's gonna get us a goal. I think he's gonna be like, "Hey, I'm somebody to be reckoned with during playoffs. Watch out, here we come."
I hope you're right. We need an Archie goal. We need
just
an
went
Archie
down
goal one way or
under.
another. Yes, I agree. Brian?
So I'm going with a 3-1 victory.
Okay.
So I'm feeling like the bank, the fortress is going to be rocking.
Yeah.
And I think that's going
We will
to
be.
carry our boys to a 3-1 victory. And my goal scorers are going to be, I think it's time for Toklamati.
Yep.
I think Vargas stays hot. And my third one is Ashley Westwood.
Ooh, the banger.
The captain.
He had a big chance in
Yeah.
this last game. He's been getting in good spots. And I just feel like this is a game where we see Westwood score.
Captain, yeah, putting it on his back like he can do. Okay. Well, hey, we got some good scores there. So 2-1, 3-0, 3-1. All of them lead to a victory for the Crown at the end of the day, which is all that really matters.
That's all that matters.
We want that victory. Go up to New York, go ahead and take it, and then rest. Though another home match, not mad about, but let's go ahead and get it done.
Yeah,
right?
please.
Let's be it done. Well, I think that does put a crown on the end of this particular episode. Thank you all for watching. If you hadn't, like and subscribe. We'll be back next week with kind of the results here and hopefully another preview of the next round, right? If everything goes
Right.
well. So we'll see how that goes. As always, guys, for the Crown.